I missed out on $20,000 wholesaling real estate. This is going to be a story time type video, and I'm going to show you what I did and the reasons why you shouldn't make these same mistakes. Let's get into the video. Now, everything that I'm getting ready to mention actually took place in Charlotte, North Carolina. So I went through the normal routine of pulling a list every month, and this particular month I pulled a vacant property list, and I had a seller on there that said he wasn't interested in selling the property. And this particular record had 3 to 4 numbers on there. I removed that number and added him to a not interested campaign that would reach out to him every 6 months. So this happened back in September, and I continued to market to the other numbers that was attached to him. Normally I take the rest of the numbers out of the campaign as well too, but for some reason I missed and left this particular seller in the regular campaign as well. So what eventually happened was his daughter was receiving messages from me. It wasn't his actual number, it was his daughter's number, and she was saying, hey, we are interested in selling. And at that point I was a little confused because I just spoke with him a couple of months ago and he said that he didn't want to sell, but then his daughter was reaching out to me saying that they are interested in selling. So what I did was I collect as much information as I possibly can, and then of course I asked the magic question: why are you interested in selling this property? And so basically she broke down that her father was in a nursing home now and they need the funds to continue to support him while he's there. So that was the level of motivation I know, and I used that and I built rapport with her. And at that point, she wasn't really ready for an offer, but it was just the process of me building rapport because I knew that they wanted to sell in the next few weeks. So a week or so went by and she reached back out and said, hey, we're ready to move forward. What would your offer be on this property? And I know she was communicating with other investors in the area. So what I did was I made her an offer of $170,000. Now, before we finish the story, please just hit the like button, subscribe, and click the notification bell, because that's going to show YouTube that this content is valuable and they're going to push it out to more people that's looking to wholesale. And also leave a comment down below, let me know some topics that you would like for me to cover dealing with the wholesaling business, and I'll make more videos on it. Now let's get back into the video. And what's crazy is normally whenever I make these type of offers, the starting offer, they're normally not accepted. But what I didn't know, someone else that was local in the area that I knew, because they post the property later, they offered her $160 and she was ready to go with my offer of $170 because I was offering $10,000 more. Once I made the offer, she said, hey, that works for us. You know, if you can get the paperwork and everything together, we'll be ready to move forward. So the guy that actually got the property under contract, you know, he's an experienced investor, and he went to her and said, hey, make sure before you sign this agreement, make sure that this person is able to move forward on the price that they're offering you. We can show you proof of funds. Make sure that they can show you proof of funds. And when that happened, she called me back while I was in the process of getting the paperwork and everything together and said, hey, would you be able to send over proof of funds and also let me speak with your contractor? It was just a whole bunch of weird stuff that she was asking for. And at that point, I never had someone ask me that. But I've heard situations where people said they lost out on deals because they didn't have proof of funds. And guess what? That same wholesaler, real estate investor that I told you that I spoke with on the phone, he ended up selling that property for $190,000. And guess what? He sold it to a hedge fund buyer. So even though I lost out on $20,000, the good thing about it is I was able to identify a hedge fund buyer that normally pays more than what an actual house flipper would pay or a regular cash buyer would pay, because their main thing is mainly holding properties. So I say that to say this to you. Make sure if you're going to be wholesaling properties and you're going to be doing it at a high level, make sure you have proof of funds. And I know you're probably like, well, where will we get proof of funds from? It's very simple. You can go online and get proof of funds letter, but make sure you check with a real estate attorney before you do that to make sure it's okay for you to do that. But you can get a proof of funds letter online, or you can go to hard money lenders to get proof of funds. And guess what? 9 times out of 10, if you out here doing business and they're going to have cash buyers all the time that borrow hard money from them, they're going to be willing to give you the proof of funds letter because you're going to be bringing more business to their company, because the more properties you got under contract at the right price and the more cash buyers want to flip properties, the more money they're going to have to borrow from the hard money lenders. And sometimes they will let you know who the cash buyers are in the area because they know that they're going to borrow the money from them. So those are just some ways that you can get proof of funds. But I wanted to come on and tell you this quick story of how I lost $20,000, and now go ahead and start getting in place someone that can give you proof of funds until you're able to build up enough capital to where you can show your seller that you have the money in your bank account to get the deal done. Now, if you're looking for a video on automating text messages in your wholesaling business, please feel free to check out my video here, and I'll see you next time.